Riders, glad to have you back on the channel. Today we are comparing the LS2 Advant X Carbon and the HJC F100 Carbon. Two carbon modular helmets with a flip-over chin bar and PJ approval. The Advant X Carbon comes with a recommended retail price of €469, while the F100 Carbon comes in slightly lower at €460. So let's find out which one gives you more for your money. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth comparisons and reviews like this in your feed. Now let's dive straight into the comparison. Material is the first segment of our review. Here we look at two criteria: the material of the outer shell and the amount of outer shell sizes a helmet is available in. More outer shell sizes simply means a more compact fitting shell across the available size range. Both helmets feature a carbon outer shell, which keeps them strong while keeping the weight lower than many regular modular helmets. The Advant X Carbon comes in two outer shell sizes, while the F100 Carbon takes a small lead here with three outer shell sizes. Because of the extra shell size, the F100 Carbon earns 4 stars, while the Advant X Carbon earns 3.5 stars. Let's see how they perform on our scale in our next segment, weight. Alright, here we use a scale that is accurate to the gram. All helmets are weighed in a size M without additional features installed. Finally, we run the results through the weight matrix to determine star scores. The Advant X Carbon comes in at 1,553 grams, which is a solid result for a modular carbon helmet. However, the F100 Carbon comes in at 1,505 grams, making it slightly lighter. For weight, the Advant X Carbon earns 3 stars, while the F100 Carbon earns 3.5 stars. Let's continue to the Visor segment to see how they perform. Here, we use a Visor matrix to determine star scores. In this matrix, many different Visor features and characteristics are listed, but naturally, not every feature is equally as impactful on your riding experience, which is why we've weighed them based on what riders ask us about the most. Both helmets are very well prepared. Both come with a clear visor with anti-scratch treatment, UV protection, and an integrated sun visor. Furthermore, a pin lock is included in the box, and the visor mechanism is decent and easy to use. Additionally, the Advant X Carbon also comes with a dark smoke visor as well. Because of the extra dark smoke visor, the Advant X Carbon earns a full 5 stars, while the F100 Carbon falls slightly behind at 4 stars. Let's move to the first road test and see how they perform in terms of noise isolation. Here we use a decibel meter, placed close to the ear of our test rider to measure the sound the same way as he hears it. We take our measurements from long stretches of open highway riding an average of 130 kilometers per hour. On the road, the Advant X Carbon measured 103 decibels, which is a normal result for this type of modular helmet. The F100 Carbon performed just slightly better with a result of 102 decibels. According to our matrix, both helmets earned 3 stars for noise isolation. Let's see how they perform in terms of ventilation. Here we measure to what extent these helmets are able to keep your head cool with a thermometer inside the helmet. We keep track of both the in and outside temperature and compare the two. The smaller the difference, the more stars a helmet earns. The Advant X Carbon measured a temperature difference of only 0.5 degrees, which is a very strong result and shows that it moves air well. The F100 Carbon is slightly better at keeping your head cool, as it measured a temperature difference of 0 degrees. For ventilation, the Advant X Carbon earns 4.5 stars, while the F100 Carbon takes the lead with 5 stars. Let's see how comfortable these helmets really are. To come up with a score for comfort, we look at both the comfort features of a helmet and our own experience with it out on the road. Both helmets come with a soft inner liner that is removable, washable, and moisture wicking. The Advant X Carbon uses a laser-cut foam, which helps the liner sit nicely around your head. The cheek pads of the F100 Carbon are quick-drying and interchangeable between sizes. Finally, both helmets use a micrometric closure, which is quick and easy to use in daily riding. Both helmets felt stable and comfortable, but the Advant X Carbon felt a bit more complete in this segment, giving it 4 stars, while the F100 Carbon earns 3.5 stars. Let's continue to features before moving on to the final comparison. To determine star scores, we use a matrix in which all kinds of features are listed. Not every one of them is equally as impactful on your riding experience, which is why we've weighed them based on what riders ask us about the most. Both helmets are ECE 22.06 and PJ certified, so they are approved for riding with the chin bar open or closed. They also come with speaker pockets, a chin curtain, and a glasses-friendly fit. The Advent X Carbon also comes with reflective safety patches and an emergency quick release, which is a unique safety feature. Finally, the Advent X Carbon comes with a 5-year warranty, while the F100 only comes with a 3-year warranty. Because of this, the Advent X Carbon earns 3 stars, while the F100 Carbon earns 2.5 stars. So, which helmet should you choose? Let's take a look at the results. For material, both helmets come with a carbon shell. The Advent X Carbon has 2 outer shell sizes, while the F100 Carbon has 3. That gives the Advent X Carbon 3.5 stars and the F100 Carbon 4 stars. For weight, the F100 Carbon takes the lead with a weight of 1,505 grams, while the Advent X Carbon weighed 1,553 grams. That means 3 stars for the Advent X Carbon and 3.5 stars for the F100 Carbon. Looking at the visor setup, both helmets are well prepared with a pin lock and integrated sun visor. The Advent X Carbon also comes with a dark smoke visor, giving it 5 stars, while the F100 Carbon only earns 4 stars. For noise isolation, both results are close. The Advent X Carbon measured 103 decibels, while the F100 Carbon measured 102 decibels, earning 3 stars for both helmets. Ventilation is very strong on both helmets. The Advent X Carbon showed a 0.5 degree difference, while the F100 Carbon showed 0 degrees. That gives the Advent X Carbon 4.5 stars and the F100 Carbon 5 stars. For comfort, both helmets have a soft inner liner. However, the Advent X Carbon feels more comfortable, giving it 4 stars, while the F100 Carbon gets 3.5 stars. Finally, in features, both helmets have similar features set up. The Advent X Carbon takes the win with its emergency quick release pads, reflective patches, and a 5-year warranty, while the F100 Carbon only gets a 3-year warranty, giving the Advent X Carbon 3 stars and the F100 Carbon only 2.5 stars. Overall, both helmets are strong options. The Advent X Carbon provides a better visor package, better comfort and features setup, while the F100 Carbon comes with more shell sizes, lower weight, and better ventilation. Alright, with that said, our comparison comes to an end. Let us know what your thoughts are about these helmets in the comments down below. You can find both helmets at championhelmets.com, where we offer the lowest price guaranteed and sharp discount bundles. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this in your feed. Guys, ride safe and buy smart. Until next time.